there were going to be dangers involved in what was about to take place in the building of these reactors. You know, in that letter, it spoke of there is no good way of getting rid of this stuff, and you know, I guess they got sick of putting it in drums and dropping it in the ocean or burying it in the desert, so they started putting it inside of Patriot missiles and the like. The ones that they've been firing off over in Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq, Egypt. Go find yourself some of the pictures and videos of the kids that have been born in Iraq and Afghanistan in the last 5 or 6 years. They're horrifying. They're terrible. And if you can look at them and not shed a tear, then I don't know what to think about a person who wouldn't feel deeply saddened by what they would see. Like I said earlier, John B. is no longer with Coast to Coast. I think that is this country's gain and their loss. I think they've now unleashed a quote-unquote monster, so to speak, but a good one. And he'll fight the battle for the patriots, and he'll fight the battle for information and truth. And in doing so, we stumble across sometimes people who appear to be of truth. And as you listen to them and things go further down the road and they interview on more shows, if you pay attention and you listen, you'll understand what they really are and who they really are and who they really work for. If this recording makes it to John B., I've talked to you on Coast to Coast before, John. Enjoyed listening to you for 2 years. And as soon as I can, I will subscribe to Caravan to Midnight, and I will listen to you there. Until then, I listened to a couple of the recordings. And you will grow, and you will get some of those same people that you had on that Coast to Coast show on Saturday nights. The really good ones. Mr. Garrow, sir, is not one of them. Miss Karen Hudis, I'd go back and check into her and listen to some other radio shows she's been on since she was on your show. That's where I first heard her, and I thought she was good, and I thought she had lots of great information, and I thought, amen, here we go. Another whistleblower. Great. But just like Mr. Garrow, when he did his 3 hours on Hagman and Hagman, I would tell you that the answers to some of the questions that he gave him away and what he really is. And I believe that he's all about misdirection. That's my opinion anyway. I will be doing some more recordings coming up in the near future, regardless of how many people get to listen to this one. I would suggest you go to Caravan to Midnight, because this letter's there. I think it may still be there. I haven't checked lately, but this is where I got it from. And you can download it from there. And as many people that can have copies of this saved on their computer or on a zip drive or however, printed out, stuck away in a file somewhere, we should be doing that so that they can't scrub these things. They can't make them disappear. I still remember to this day, 6-7 years ago, when I first started digging into the truth, and I read a book that a gentleman borrowed me, and it was either in that book or on the net that I seen black and white photos of Mr. Obama. And I call him Mr. Obama. I don't call him my president, because I don't believe he legally is my president. I said it out loud, and I'll say it out loud wherever I care to, or wherever anybody asks, because I've seen the evidence. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take a guy or a man or a woman with an advanced degree or the super intelligence of a Bill Maher. Yeah, that was sarcasm. To see the truth sitting right in front of you. At any rate, it was pictures of Mr. Obama shaking hands with Henry Kissinger, 1979, 1980, right in that area of time. And these were black and white photos, and a black and white photo of him shaking hands with Zbigniew Brzezinski, and all three gentlemen standing together in a picture. So that should tell you something. But funny thing is, I can't find that picture anywhere anymore. If anybody's seen it, anybody knows where it is, I'd like to know, because that's another picture I'd like to save for the history books, so to speak. I'm going to piggyback on some words from our friend Freedom Fighter on YouTube. I've been saying it for a long time. We the people, united we win, divided they win. And it's time we all set aside our religious differences. Matter of fact, it's time you set aside your religion, period. I don't care which one you belong to. Set it aside. Open the book and read it. Because Jesus Christ had no time at all for religion. Man made religion. Man created denominations, all meant to divide and cause fighting amongst people, arguments amongst people, everybody having the need to be right about which God they worship. Or is there a God? Funny thing is God gave you the freedom to be able to have those thoughts and to look at life that way and to live your life as you see fit. Government didn't give that to you. God did. Your Creator did. At any rate, let us set aside the differences. Who cares what color anybody's skin is anymore? I'm going to say this too. Who cares what the name of an NFL football team is? Or if it gets changed to something other than the Redskins or the Cleveland Indian baseball team. Do the Indian nations of this country really care about that, or do they care about their starving tribal members? They're tribal members who have no water, no running water, no hot water, no heat in the middle of a winter like we've had in places like Pine Ridge Reservation out in South Dakota. And do you care about fixing those problems? Or do you care only about what the name of a sports team is or isn't? See, I believe the government wants you to focus on the name of a sports team so that you'll think they're doing something in your favor anyway. At least they're trying. Well, if they really cared, they'd make sure none of your people were starving. They'd make sure your children and your people on your reservations, the respectful reservations, would have hot water, running water, heat. The Indian nations of this country are divided too, and that's sad. That's just as sad as blacks against whites and whites against Latinos and Asians against whoever and whatever. And it's stupid. Cut it out. If you're an illegal alien, you should go home. Come back the right way. We want you here, but we want you to do it the right way. Not the way that the political parties have allowed you to get away with, just so they could have more voters. Set aside your differences, folks, or they keep winning. We got to stand together and we got to figure it out. I don't know exactly how bad I think things will get, but things are going to get bad. They want us to fight each other. They want us, when the stuff hits the fan, they want us to kill each other. It'll save their bullets, and it'll save their time and their efforts. Our government's always wanted both sides of any argument to fight against each other, and they've always fueled the argument. On an international scale, they supply weapons to both sides of every battle. And sometimes they help the battle get going. Wake up, folks. Hey, wait a minute. Wasn't it Al-Qaeda that took down the Twin Towers, they tell us? Yet they're feeding them money and weapons, hand over fist, in Syria and in Libya and in Egypt. Come on. It doesn't take 2 plus 2 to come up with 4. I mean, I know Common Core and all. There's another neat deal. And people can throw words around like conspiracy theorists, because then automatically you're tagged as some kind of crazy. Well, you know what? So be it. So be it. I'll be happy to sit down with an analyst any day. Put me in a room with a dozen psychiatrists any day, and I'll prove my sanity. Not even worried about it. Yeah, I'm crazy, all right. I'm crazy about making sure my son has a better world to live in. I'm crazy about making sure that other people's children have a better world to grow up in. I'm crazy about the Constitution that was written into law so that the God-given rights couldn't be taken away by man. That's what that Constitution's for. The rights in that Constitution were God-given rights. Man's law was written to guarantee those rights couldn't be taken away unless we let them. Anyway, enough of the soapbox. I hope you listen. Hope you got some information out of it that's useful. And